I've got my predators' phone numbers, I've got their addresses. I didn't have to stalk anyone to get those. The courts gave them to me. They also slandered the shit out of me, and my public pretenders wouldn't do shit. A lot of these predators, they had good intentions. Problem is, they were on drugs, they were on alcohol, care of themselves. Shannon Alvarado, well, she turned out to be a pretty horrible person. While I was there were some immigrants who were taking care of her father who's paralyzed. And they didn't get their Christmas money that they usually get every year. Shannon spent a lot of money. She also blamed everything on her daughter. That's what you people do. Between taking responsibility for what she did and blaming it all on her daughter, I recorded those conversations. This is what addicts do. They blame everyone but themselves. They refuse to take any personal responsibility for their actions and their decisions. Fact is, her daughter was never a problem there. The issues that her daughter has, I was already aware of. Her daughter was not a problem, Shannon was. Her daughter's reactions were to Shannon Alvarado. Now, I haven't given out Shannon Alvarado's number, despite the fact that I have it. I haven't given out Kara Johnson Miles' phone number or address, despite the fact that I have them. I've got them in abundance. These people committed felonies and it was fine. See, there's the way that the law is written, and then there's the actuality of it when people can call you mentally ill and literally do whatever they want to you. Shannon Alvarado is not violent. She's not. Her daughter is violent. If you sit down in Shannon Alvarado's house, her daughter will pull your hair, or pull your beard if you have one. But Shannon Alvarado is proof of such horrible things about how someone can pretend to be somebody they're actually not. I went there thinking she was on meth. Then again, I didn't have a whole lot of other options. None of my friends would even look at the evidence. None of them. Taking something like this and photocopying it or scanning it, fine, great, thank you. But I need you to look at it. I need you to take the time to look at it. And you're simply not gonna if you're too busy with drugs. Alcohol is a drug. You know how many rapes are perpetrated by people who are drunk? Murders that are perpetrated by people who are drunk? And then all these alcoholics want to go, oh, well, it's legal. Does that make it okay? No, it doesn't. Now, because the courts gave me these things, the courts did this. The courts gave me these numbers. The courts gave me their addresses. Despite this, you guys still don't have William Barr's number, do you? I haven't given you Shannon Alvarado's number, have I? I haven't given you Kara Johnson Miles' number, have I? No, I haven't. Finally getting someone to look at it after 5 goddamn years of fucking bullshit. 5 years of abuse. 5 years of having to go in alone. 5 years of being separated from the witnesses, separated from the evidence, and having fake ass public pretenders. Meanwhile, there were people who went in with me to court, but they didn't go with me to turn it in. They didn't help me to turn it in at all. People wanted to keep on telling me I got to do it myself. You know what? The Bollingers did not do this themselves. They had actual help, while I had pretty words from alcoholics and fucking drug dealers. No matter what, they all outright refused to look at the evidence. They didn't have time. They didn't have time. No, they were too busy getting fucking drunk. They were too busy smoking meth. When Miss Peaches and I stopped being friends, it wasn't over the fact that I posted that stuff. Oh, she was sure angry about it. It was because one of her druggy buddies, Blaine McCrelius, wanted to be a little bitch. I wouldn't have had to go to the internet if these people hadn't been so fucking shitty. Now, let me explain something to you. You don't have to be the one being abused. You don't. If you are in that environment, it's abusive enough. Shannon Alvarado screaming at her boyfriend every fucking night. It was horrible. But then again, she doesn't want to admit, just like every other junkie on the planet, she doesn't want to admit that her drug addictions affect all of those around her. Just like Rose M. Kelly didn't want to admit that her drug addictions affected all of those around her. Those of you who actually paid any goddamn attention whatsoever, you know that Natalie had to go through hell growing up because her parents were both fucking addicts. What did my dad go to prison for? 38 counts of cocaine possession with intent to sell. He was sentenced to a mandatory minimum 12 years. He went to a work farm and was released after 5. The horrible things that Rihanna did to those children, she did because she was an addict. Those were Amy Kingery's kids. Why did Amy Kingery do such horrible things to her kids? Because she was an addict. Why were those kids so horribly behaved? They weren't getting love, they were stuck with addicts. I've got an iPad. I should have brought it in here first. That way I could play those recordings. Yesterday the internet wouldn't work here for shit. It took me 6 or 7 hours to download the one video I was able to put up yesterday. It's not my choice. Just like it wasn't my choice for Shannon Alvarado to turn into such a screwy piece of shit. There's a lot of stuff that I could have done on my own, but you can't do that when you are constantly stressed out by the alcoholic screaming at the top of her lungs. The cops should have been called to Shannon Alvarado's probably just about every night. The fact that the neighbors didn't call the cops shows a lot of patience on their part. Now, on my paperwork, they left out everything. They twisted, warped, and manipulated everything, and nobody would do a goddamn thing about it. Public pretenders don't do their fucking jobs. They don't have to. They get paid whether they win or lose. When you're an at risk adult, you need someone there in person who actually gives a shit. God damn it. That fucking beeping is driving me fucking nuts. Now I've got all this stuff. I was never allowed to defend myself to the public. I was never allowed to show my friends what was going on. Not that they gave a fuck anyway. I had to pay them to give a shit. And even then, they just didn't give a shit. They wasted all of my resources with their empty fucking promises. And people say, wait, that's not our fault. You shouldn't have been dumb enough to do it. You know what? I went to everyone that I could. Everyone I could. The junkies just happen to be the only ones who would actually pretend that they're going to help me. I went to all the people that you're supposed to go to. I called all the people you're supposed to go to. None of them would look. Get this idea in their head that if they don't look at it, it never happened. But then they did fucked up shit, and they didn't like that I spoke out about it. All these people who made me go in by myself, I told them, hey, I will be victimized if I go in by myself. I cannot go in by myself. I need your help. I need you to look at the evidence and go in with me. Molly Smith never dropped off that evidence, by the way. I'm used to that. I'm used to people not keeping their words because it's no big major deal because it doesn't affect their lives. Do I hate Molly Smith? No, I don't. Am I pissed off? Yes, I am. I needed that evidence. I still need it. Just like the evidence that Miss Peaches, aka Kayla Trujillo, has. Fucking goddamn it. Stop fucking beeping. Jesus fucking goddamn Christ. Goddamn beeping. It's painfully obvious that the police did everything that they could to protect my predators. And they committed felonies by doing so, but who gives a shit? I'm just a bum. Meanwhile, a lot of people are fucking dead. a lot of people are dead. They got away with all of the things that they did by calling me mentally ill, and magically, none of the evidence that I've saved exists. None of them will look at it. If I send it across the internet to these fucking stations, these police officers pretend that they can't see it. Meanwhile, pieces of shit like Mandy Hughes wants to pretend like she's a victim. No, she's the fuck not. She's predatory. So is Shannon Alvarado. So is Kayla Trujillo. Good people don't do shit like that. At least I told the truth. They want to be angry because I recorded them and put them on the internet. Well, you know what? They should have told the fucking truth. Every one of them. Every single one of them should have told the truth. But they wanted to tell me how to think and how to feel. You get to hear how Marcia Estrada, basically, she's doing the same thing everybody else is. Blowing me off. It won't work. It won't work. Bitch, it won't work if you don't try. Now, I'm still trying to work together with Marcia Estrada. I'm still hoping that she'll do something decent to actually help. I needed a caseworker to help me with these things, to help stop the abuse. I documented the abuse. I wrote it down over and over. No matter what, there's some excuse why they couldn't take it. These people are horrible people. After the horrible things that they did, they want to hide behind their children. Through most of this, it seems that the parents didn't actually give a shit about their children. For Shannon Alvarado, having a disabled daughter is her excuse for all of the horrible things she did. I can't help my daughter makes no sense. It's not your fucking daughter, bitch. Your daughter wasn't fucking getting all drunk and screaming at people all night long. Marcia Estrada is supposed to call me today. Of course, she's repeatedly said that she's going to call me and not kept her word. But there's always some excuse. If there's a real reason, that needs to go to the courts. It needs to be documented that I did go to you for fucking help. It needs to be documented. I will not be heard because of the tag of mentally ill. I've been through 5 years of hell. When you try to turn in a police officer, they can do whatever the hell they want to just by turning off their body cameras. Or turning it on when it's convenient. Or preventing you from turning them in by having you locked up in fucking prison for crimes you didn't even commit. I am for assisted suicide for a reason. You know, Kara Johnson Miles pretended to be an autism advocate. Meanwhile, she's fucking typing all sorts of fucked up shit in these goddamn web sleuth groups. Justice for Natalie. You don't give a fuck about justice for Natalie. If you did, you would be helping me put these people in fucking prison and helping me to close the goddamn loopholes that allow these people to do it again and again and again. Meanwhile, these goddamn junkies say in Jesus' name, and you believe them. No, they're fucking manipulating you, you fucking moron. Then again, you're not a real Christian either, are you? No, you're not. None of you are. Brenda Dickinson is a fucking fake. Laura Nelson is a fucking fake. Rod Wright is a fucking fake. Don't tell me about your Jesus, you fucking pieces of shit. You've shown me you don't believe in any such thing. You've shown me that you haven't read the Bible. You don't know what the fuck's in there. Christians are responsible for more deaths than any other group. Christians have killed more Christians than any other group. Meanwhile, people want to shove Jesus in school? Yeah, no. We've got Christians still in the United States murdering other Christians. We've got neo-Nazis claiming that it's okay in the name of Jesus. It's not. Meanwhile, no matter what, there's some excuse why I can't turn this shit in. Some excuse why the cops can't do nothing about it. There needed to be someone there and present. Not a fucking coward like Laura Nelson. She could have spoke up and should have spoke up, but she's a fucking coward. If she actually believed in the Jesus, she'd have fucking spoke up to begin with. Not lie at me their pretty goddamn words. I don't owe it to you to keep your fucking secrets, you fucking piece of shit. I don't. Now, I've got these people's numbers. I've got their addresses. That's not fucking okay. Now, I'm not going to give you all of the details. But let's read off of these pieces of paper. The predators that I've been trying to turn in, that I have needed help turning in, they live all over the place. All over the place. Ah, Miles, Kara, E. This is the lady who is pretending to be an autism advocate. I told you, my predators. Oh, and Alicia Bollinger and Rochelle Shelley Campbell. The very same people, with the exception of Alicia Bollinger, who are fucking playing me. They were taking advantage of my disability to get away with the crimes that they were committing, and nobody gave a fuck. You want to tell me your pretty fucking words? No, shove off, sailor. Right here. Well, it says that Kara Miles lives in Midland, Texas. Now it has her address, it has her phone number. This is one of the predators that I was trying to turn in. I shouldn't have had to do the desperate things that I did, but nobody gave a fuck. They wanted to take advantage of my disabilities in order to justify their crimes and prevent me from showing evidence, and it's fine. Because this is how homeless people are treated nationwide, you fucking pieces of shit. Don't fucking bitch about your goddamn rights. You don't fucking deserve them. No, white people don't deserve any rights. No, black people do not deserve any rights. Native Americans do not deserve any rights. Women do not deserve any rights. And men do not deserve any rights as long as this is how homeless people are treated. Because homeless people comprise every one of those groups. And this is your victim pool. How is this okay? Oh, yeah. You feel better about your lives and your station in life as long as there is someone lower than you on the totem pole you can take it out on. You're fucking shitty people. Now let's read this. I've already posted up on my Facebook messages between me and Kara Johnson Miles. I've got them saved on my computer. And the ones with Rochelle Shelley Campbell and the ones with Danica Garner that showed that they were manipulating the entire time. This paperwork shows that the shit that all of these people are telling me they weren't allowed to do, that they tried to do, that these cops are telling them they wouldn't and couldn't. They did it for all of my predators. Midland, Texas. That's right. Shannon Alvarado saying she can't turn it in because she's not in Colorado. Meanwhile, Kara Johnson Miles can slander me from Midland, Texas. Your fucking shitty excuses for human beings for allowing this. No, you don't deserve your rights. You don't. The Bollingers do not believe in fucking Jesus. They have shown that. All they're interested in doing is hiding their crimes, hiding the horrible shit that they fucking did. Not just to me, but also to Natalie Bollinger. Those were her words. Then I listened to all these people that I'm supposed to go to for help. Tell me, well, if you already went to them, I don't know how I'm going to be able to help you. Well, you could start by taking a look at the fucking evidence and helping me turn it in. Instead of making excuses. Instead of saying, oh, you probably won't work. You got like a 2% chance. You got like a 10% chance. You got like an 8% chance. Well, great. That's better than zero. But you're fucking pieces of shit, aren't you? I got William Barr's phone number. Do you guys have William Barr's phone number? Now, meanwhile, there's other people like Leslie Snell. All right. I don't need her address. Chapel, Nebraska is a tiny fucking town. She lives right next door to the dude who was my best friend in Chapel for a lot of years. His name is Jeff Baldridge. He's a Native American in a wheelchair, those of you who want to pretend that I'm racist. Of course, then we always got that dude who's a racist piece of shit, and then he says, well, I can't be racist. My best friend's black. Really? Really? Well, that's about as ignorant as you can fucking get. Where is this best friend, huh? Fucking lying ass assholes. See, I already knew all the dynamics. I've been typing about the dynamics for years, explaining the dynamics for years. It's not just me saying it. The numbers back it the fuck up. Out of all this, I was the only one who was interested in the truth, interested in showing the truth, and nobody cared to fucking look. I'm going to be making a few videos today. One of them's going to be about Wendell McPhee. He's not going to like that.